BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. Good morning. Let's have a look at some of these charts. Just a bit of an overview of the market really. If you want a bit more in depth about your particular altcoin of choice, join the Patreon. I'm doing a live stream tonight, so I'll see you there. So other than that then, Bitcoin again yesterday and today I suppose really. That's a bit of a messy one, but yesterday getting rejection on the 7 simple moving average. Again, yeah, the use of the 7 simple or the support resistance normally indicates the later stages of a rally or a pullback in this instance. So it does, to be honest with you, it does still on the daily look like we want to move back down again. Probably to make a very smaller wick low down towards that 58,000. If that happens, I wouldn't really be too concerned about it. It is an opportunity for a bounce. So let's have a little look for any kind of potential divergence if there were to be any. And if there was, you would see it because this is a decent low here. If we get a higher low on this RSI and on the money flow index, yeah, a decent bounce is what we'd be looking for. And I've been waiting for this. And I was speaking about it on the last Patreon, saying, look, if we do get another sweep down, there's a lot of evidence on altcoins, at least, that you'd get a spring. And that bouncy spring I'll show you just on these that we sort of quickly looked at yesterday. It could generate between a 20 to, well, let's just say an overall of around 30% move on altcoins, potentially anyway. Nothing other than that, though. DEFCOS retests across the board, including that of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's resistance around 65,500, back into this box of significance, really. Now, the 4 hourly is telling a slightly different story, although it's not massively bullish at all. We reclaimed this Bollinger Band Center yesterday, and we've maintained support above it as well. 10 exponentials made a positive cross above it. Not that that means a great deal, but any cross in the right direction is a sign of some form of strength, although this is pretty much, I wouldn't say it's strong, but it does exist. So as of today, the supports on the short-term timeframes is that 61,434, which, to be honest with you, is basically the 20 weekly as well, or 21 exponential, sorry, on the weekly. So if we can close here, which again, you need to close here on Sunday night, see what the open is on Monday morning. It might look, an okay scenario. Like the low could already be in at that stage. We could say maybe not even. Let's not confirm a low, but evidence for a low is in at that point. If this ends up being a hammer, which is what these candle bodies would be called if they look like this, then yeah, again, the wick tells a story. The wicks tell stories. That's a wick telling a story, and these are wicks telling a story. This could be a wick telling a story, and we could be moving back up towards that area, the box of significance, and that's where our next major resistance really is. Between 64,500 and 65,400. So fair play to Bitcoin. It's having a little go. It's trying, but on the higher term timeframes, the money flow, the momentum, all still facing down. So let's have a think about Ethereum. So Ethereum's slightly better. You can see that the moving averages, for the most part, are all below us here on Ethereum. I think this is that whole idea of the ETF and blah blah blah, giving it some kind of artificial sort of strength. I'd like to see it continue. It's definitely a better chart on the short terms than Bitcoin, so I'll take that for what it's worth. And looking over here on the daily, if we can get above 3,500, this would be a breakout really. And the breakout you'd target all the way back up to, well, the candle body highs at least 3,900. Like I was saying about a week ago, really, despite everything looking awful, which it kind of does, Ethereum at least has the upper hand versus Bitcoin. And if Ethereum's got the upper hand, then the total 2, the total 3, all those other charts, including the dominance chart, probably has the opportunity to have some form of rally. We're not going to call it an alt season because that's not what it would be. Again, I'm looking for altcoins to have a decent bounce, whether we go down and then spring back up from there. I think it's not unlikely, let's call it like that. The odds aren't great, but they're not terrible either. Dixie looks like it wants to continue with this run up to the measured move, which is 106.3, 106.4. And the S&P still carrying on with its attempt to make new all-time highs. We might even see that today. So that's good. So let's have a finish off on the dominance chart. So I briefly mentioned it yesterday, and I still believe it to be the case. If Ethereum continues the way it is, and altcoins do see that 20 to 30% bounce, we'll see this breakdown here. And again, breakdown only from a Bollinger Band, and the next support would either be the 50 exponential or the 200 exponential in this massive golden cross. Golden crosses love to invite the candles, just to retest them. The dominance chart shouldn't be any different, to be honest. This is the first time we've ever seen a golden cross on a weekly for the dominance chart, so we don't really know how relevant it is. But if you apply the same knowledge that you would of TA to this chart, then you would say this is a bullish chart, but golden crosses like to get retested. So maybe have a little bit of a rally on alts before you see Bitcoin either go back up or the market dump. Either way, the dominant shift. So it's early days, and we are still being supported. But I think with Ethereum, potentially getting ready to break out, and again, nothing confirmed. And altcoins, like we were looking at yesterday on the daily, so we've got momentum shifting over here, bullish divergence on the daily, that's ICP. VeChain, same thing, bullish divergence, momentum shifting. Atom, bullish divergence, momentum shifting. Then it would say, all right, fine, there is potentially a tipping point here where you're going to get a break. Now for Ethereum, it would be a real breakout really on its own chart, which could lead to like a new local high. But for these boys, I'm afraid it's not quite the same. But that doesn't mean that the opportunities are less. In fact, the gains could realistically be a lot higher. To the top of the range on ICP, 34%. To the 200 simple moving average, again, death cross retest, 53%. So obviously, if it does do what I think it could do, then yeah, these altcoins would way outperform Ethereum. But Ethereum has the better chart. So when it comes to risk to reward, the risk is obviously higher on the other altcoins because they don't have a great setup for a breakout of their own. They're just going to be like almost used like a derivative of the market. So I suppose this is what altcoins are largely, isn't it really? Yeah, especially in this portion of the market where it's not exactly bullish, to say the least. But that doesn't mean that they can't outperform the leaders, whether that's Bitcoin or Ethereum. So Bitcoin, not a great looking chart. Ethereum definitely slightly better, but ICP, VeChain, Atom, and probably a hell of a load of others, if the market does move, as we all know the market often moves as one, they will outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum probably quite severely. If we were to move from here just up to the candle body highs, it's a 13% move. So, this is what I mean by risk to reward. The risk is obviously going to be higher on these things because they're downtrending charts with only a subtle shift of momentum changing. Whereas Ethereum is actually, it's not great, but it wouldn't take much. It's only another $50 really or more, just a tiny bit above where we are right now, to confirm a potential breakout. And with that comes a better chart. So better risk, less risk, less reward. That's all I'm trying to say. Right, so other than that, I'll kind of leave it with you there. I don't need to bore you to death too much longer. It's just another version of what I said yesterday. And, the charts are slow. We did see some movement yesterday, and, we can see that we're ever so slightly in the green today. Nothing very convincing. So it is a matter of just waiting to see if we can continue with this particular direction. And at the moment, the supports, like I say, on Bitcoin, 61,400, basically 21 exponential on the weekly. And top targets, I would say, is 65,500. And that would be my best guess as to if we do see a rally on Bitcoin, we're very likely to get rejected there. Major resistance over there. And again, it's not a very convincing chart to say that it's going to make a reversal. And also it's Friday. So, if you want to have a cautious bet, which is effectively what markets are at right now. It kind of is like, you know, placing your bets. Really, it's nothing. There's really no guarantees in either direction as of this moment in time. So it is like a bet. So if you want to make a cautious bet, you would probably stay, you know, on the sidelines on a Friday. There's nothing worse than making taking a plunge on crypto or a stock on a Friday to sit through it on the weekend to get demolished on a Monday. But you know, at this very moment, we are still sitting on the supports for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins on the 4 hourly. So the shorter term time frames have a tiny bit more. And again, it's only small. You know, it's only a tiny bit more chance of moving up than anything else. But it won't take long to flip that to continuation down. Anyway, it's very early in the morning still, so we've got plenty of time to see this price action develop. It's more bullish than bearish right now, but it is only 7:20 in the morning, so we'll come back in, what is this going to be, 13 hours from now for the Patreon live stream, and we will see if we're getting continuation or breakdown. And at that point, we'll be able to speculate probably a little bit better as to whether we're going to buy dips from lower areas, or if we can, you know, I suppose, take part in some form of uptrend into the next major resistance for whatever altcoin it is that you're looking at. Right, this very moment in time, like I say, upside more likely, but invalidation would be 4 hourly candle bodies below what we'll say 61,200. You get a closure below that, and probably coming back down towards 58,000 again. Right, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.